For this one, where we have to expand this logarithmic expression, you can start by counting the number of parts there are in the argument. Anything that multiplies or divides is a separate part. So here there are 2 on the top multiplying together, then there's 1 on the bottom dividing them both. So there are 3 of these in total. And what you can do is write the log base d 3 times, 1 time for each term. After that, we can fill out the terms. We can put the square root of a here. This is the first one. The second one is b to the 5th power. And the third one is c to the 7th power. So that takes care of the 3 parts. Now we need to know what the signs are. Anything that came from the top is going to be associated with a plus sign. So the first one is automatically positive. You don't have to put this plus sign here, but just to indicate that it would be positive, I went ahead and just wrote it this time. But when you simplify it, you won't have that. It's automatically positive.
Okay, that's fine.
And now, so the b to the 5th, we'll go ahead and put a plus sign for that since it came from the top of the fraction. C to the 7th came from the bottom of the fraction. So this is where you put a minus sign. Next, you want to move exponents to the front. Here we can see the exponent very clearly, but this radical is actually also possible to rewrite as an exponent. The square root is also a form of an exponent. In other words, you're thinking about it like this, where I'll use the same variable a that they have there, and there's a power here, so I'll put p for power, and there's a root out here. In this case, it's a square root, so both of these numbers are understood. The 1 is understood, the 2 is also understood, because if you don't see a number on the root or the index of a radical, it's automatically the 2. The idea is that when you rewrite this, you keep the a, the p goes in the top of a fraction, and the r goes underneath it. And so with the one we have here, where it's the square root of a, it would be as if saying you have a to the 1st power, but you're finding the second root of a to the 1st power. So the 1 there would go on the top of the fraction, the 2 would go on the bottom. And that's what this really is. So in other words, there is an exponent there. And we can rewrite it with the exponent before doing the next step. On this step, we're moving all the exponents to the front. So now this is 1/2 times the log base d of a. After that, we have a plus 5 log base d of b minus 7 times the log base d of c. There's nothing that will simplify between the bases and the arguments on each of these terms, so that's as far as this one will go. For this, do you have any questions about anything?
No, sir.
All right, we'll move on to the next one.